Texas keeps attracting people, businesses, and investment. But here's the question nobody seems to be asking. Can Texas actually keep up? Because today we're talking about AI, the future of work, corporate relocations, infrastructure, and what may be one of the biggest long-term challenges facing our state. I'm Kyle Grimshaw, and this is the Texas Market Brief. Good morning and welcome back. I'm Kyle Grimshaw with the Grimshaw Home Group. Before we get started, thank you for coming back. We took Friday off after Juneteenth holiday to slow down a bit and spend time with family and friends. Also, for you dads out there, I hope you had a great Father's Day. Today is Monday, June 22nd, 2026. Let's jump in. Last week, the Federal Reserve decided to leave interest rates unchanged. That part was not a surprise. Markets largely expected it. But the bigger message was that the Fed is still very focused on inflation and may be farther away from rate cuts than many people had hoped. In fact, the tone was a little bit more hawkish than we may have looked at in first glance. For homeowners and buyers, that means mortgage rates may not come down as quickly as many people were hoping. But here's the thing. I don't think that's the most important story right now. I think the bigger story is what's happening underneath the economy. And that's where we need to pay more attention. Let's talk about artificial intelligence, because whether people love it or hate it, AI is already changing the workplace. Some jobs will become more productive. Some jobs will change dramatically. And yes, some jobs may eventually disappear. But I think there's an important distinction. Throughout history, technology has often replaced tasks before it replaced entire professions. And I think that's what a lot of people are missing right now. The biggest near-term divide may not be between people who have jobs and people who don't. It may be between people who learn how to use new tools and people who refuse to adapt. That's why I don't think AI is the biggest threat. I think refusing to adapt is. And for young professionals, that may be one of the most important lessons of the next decade. At the same time AI is changing work, Texas continues attracting companies, investment, and talent. Why? A few reasons. We have land, we have energy, we have business-friendly environment, we have major universities, and we have a growing workforce. Whether it's technology, manufacturing, logistics, healthcare, aerospace, or energy, companies continue betting on Texas, and those bets are getting bigger. AI infrastructure alone is already driving major investment across the state. Every time a company relocates, expands, or builds here, it creates ripple effects. Jobs, construction, infrastructure, small businesses, housing demand. This is one of the reasons I remain optimistic about Texas in the long term. Now, let's talk about something that almost nobody discusses enough: water. Everybody talks about population growth. Everybody talks about housing. Everybody talks about jobs. But very few people talk about water infrastructure. The reality is simple. Growth requires resources. More people require more homes. More homes require more water. And many parts of Texas are already dealing with increasing pressure on water systems. This is not a crisis today, but it is absolutely a long-term challenge, because if Texas wants to keep growing, infrastructure has to keep up with growth. And that includes water, power, roads, and long-term planning. That may not be the most exciting headline in the world, but it may end up being one of the most important stories over the next decade. Those are the forces that shape communities over time. And if Texas continues winning the opportunity battle, housing demand will follow. But if infrastructure falls behind, that creates a completely different kind of pressure. Here's my hot take. I don't think AI is the biggest threat facing young professionals. I think standing still is. Complacency. The people who continue learning, adapting, and developing valuable skills are going to create opportunities for themselves regardless of what technology does. At the same time, I don't think Texas' biggest challenge is growth. I think it's keeping up with growth, and that's a very different conversation. The good news? Those are challenges worth having because they usually come from opportunity. I want to hear from you. What skill do you think will be the most valuable 10 years from now? And what job do you believe AI will never replace? Let me know in the comments. And if you found today's episode helpful, make sure to subscribe. And if there's a topic you would like covered in the future episodes of the Texas Market Brief, leave a comment below. I'm Kyle Grimshaw with the Grimshaw Home Group. Thank you for joining me for another episode, and I'll see you on Wednesday.